it just worked out great. And I don't know, he loved it the second I told him. And, Vince ain't gonna blow smoke up your, he like, if he's not gonna like something, he's gonna be like, no, but he loved it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. How's everything going in your world, Mandy?
Well, thank you for having me first. And it's been going, I mean, I don't really know what day it is half the time because we're, of course, still filming once a week, but it's been kind of weird, I think for everyone, but I've been trying to make it work and trying to just keep my, get my workouts in and trying to stay busy, whether it's little home projects or whatever it is. So, not much we can do, right?
Well, you went from a world where like your days were defined by either were you traveling to TV or were you leaving TV? Now it's just kind of like all a big jumble, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of crazy because you really appreciate so much when you're in these situations because it's like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be home and just relax because we're always on the go. But then like times like this, when I get bored, I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I was on a road loop right now. Not gonna lie, interacting with people.
Well, congratulations on your fitness app, Fit with
Thank
Mandy.
you.
Perfect time to be launching an at-home, workout app. Was that the plan, to kind of get this out while people were at home?
No, that's the crazy part. It is a perfect time for it, but I actually started it about like a little over a year ago, and I was going to continue on to create different programs, but this is the first program I started with. It's basically a 12-week at-home program where you can do it anywhere, your living room, your garage, outside, and it requires little to no equipment. It's for all ages, men, women, of all different skill levels. And that's why I did it. It was more like, I know people might look at me and be like, oh, am I going to look like her? How am I going to look like her? Or whatever it may be. It's not about that. It's, everyone has to start from somewhere. And it's a really good program, whether you're a mom and you're home and you have to watch your kids, or, a young girl trying to get into fitness or whatever it is. It's super accessible for anyone. And that's why I did it. And it happened to really work out in times like this, when you can't get to a gym or you can't get to any, equipment. So yeah, I'm really grateful for it.
Well, I miss the gym a lot.
I know. I do too.
You do as well.
I do.
But I did download your app yesterday and I've been checking out some of these workouts.
Thank you. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that.
Oh, of course. I know how difficult it is to create an app.
Yeah. I mean, in those workouts, I did every single one of those workouts, some different settings. I was on the beach in Miami filming and, just on the streets, just doing them just to show that you could literally do it anywhere. So they're really good workouts and they're high intensity interval training. So really get your heart rate up, and it just goes to show, you can still get a great workout without any equipment.
Has fitness or any part of that, I mean, obviously that's been a big part of your life, your whole life. Has any of that had to take a back seat to the crazy schedule that you have at WWE?
Yeah, I think it's relatable to everyone right now because like I have my good days and my bad days. So like, or good weeks, let's say, because like last week, I don't know what it was. I was like home, no motivation, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Just like didn't feel like doing much. I have a bike in my garage, so like I'll do the bike a little bit in the morning, and then I was like, oh, I'll do my do workout later on, but I just like wouldn't get to it. I was just like kind of lounging around. But then the week prior to that, it was a really good week. So I think it just depends, our energy, and like sometimes when I get out of my routine it's so much harder to get back into it because we're always so focused, and like every day is, when you're in such a strict routine, it's so hard to get out of it and then get back into it. So this week I'm doing good so far. I mean, it's just Monday, so can't promise you. But I think it's, I think everyone's going to have their good days and bad days with the time, right? With this time right now. So.
Well, diet's so much of this, and I'm so impressed that you and all the other WWE superstars are able to stay lean, stay looking muscular when you're on the road like 300 days a year. How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. And I came from the bodybuilding and competing world, and I know what it's like to, restrict yourself and really, get down to like I don't know, 5% body fat, whatever it may be. I've, seen that firsthand. And, that's not something you can really sustain every day. It's not super attainable either, but it's for, specific competition or whatever it may be. So like now with wrestling, it's a lot harder for me to maintain that life, that physical, I don't know, body, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
But like right now it's more of a, it's all about moderation right now and consistency for me. And, I have a good foundation, so I'm grateful for that. And I can I know my body so well, so I can really play around with like, I'm able to eat what I want. But then once I feel like I'm kind of getting off track, I need to get back on and just be consistent. And, I think it's all about balance, and I need to still be able to enjoy my donuts or my good cheat meals and stuff, because I grew up around like, Italian food my whole life, and my dad owns delis and restaurants. And so it was like, for me to not be able to have any of that and like live my life, that would restrict me too much.
Well, anybody that's seen your YouTube channel knows that you love donuts.
Yes, exactly.
What is your go-to donut?
Honestly, it sounds boring, but me specifically, I love just your good glazed donut. And I don't know what it is, but it's just like nothing like a really good glazed donut. I'm not into like the really fancy ones, to be honest. I've had them all. I have had some really great ones as well, but yeah, you can't go wrong with a good glazed donut.
You might be right. That's probably the most donut you could pick, though.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think for a lot of fans, I mean, the first time they saw you was Tough Enough. So that was 5 years ago. I mean, probably been a whirlwind for you for these last 5 years.
It has, yeah. It's really crazy. I was going to Iona College and studying speech language pathology. And then before you know it, I was on stage competing in a bikini. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, this is cool. This is fun. Like I really started getting into this healthy lifestyle and really seeing progress and the confidence, seeing my body progress and get to like some, where I just developed so much confidence. And then all of a sudden I'm, in a ring competing with all these people for a reality show. It's just crazy. It's been quite the journey, but it's been so much fun.
Well, before the Tough Enough audition came around, with that degree and with your background in fitness, what was the career path that you were on?
Well, before Tough Enough?
Yeah.
So I always loved working with children. So I truly believe it's all like full circle. I always loved working with children. I always wanted to be a teacher. So when I was studying early childhood education, I then got involved into speech language pathology, which I just kind of thought that would be it is a great field, because there's other, there's so many other environments and stuff in so many other, what's the word I'm looking for? Avenues, and like where you can, there's at-home programs, and there's there's hospital care and a bunch of different ones. So I really enjoyed that, but I still continue to work with children. And then I was going to get my master's, but I didn't quite get into the program I wanted to get into. So I kind of just was like working and hustling. I was waitressing and bartending. And that's when I got, one of my friends came up to me and she's like, you should do this competing, or you should get into this. And I was a little iffy about it, and I decided to. And then, since then is when I started competing, and I was the 2014 bikini world champion. And then from there is when I got a call for Tough Enough.
And the thing that's interesting about both of those worlds, both competing and WWE, is you can't be half in it. You have to like throw yourself all the way into that world.
Yes, for sure. And that's the crazy part too, is because I didn't really have much experience and I really didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of like, I was just like, I'm just going to wing this and just, whatever, I'll see what I got. And if it was fun for me, I kind of like that challenge too. So I just did it. And then it became, I don't look back now looking at everything and all the accomplishments and everything, because it's like I'm so glad I took those chances, because I wouldn't end up here. I don't think.
Well, before Tough Enough, what was your relationship to wrestling? Like, did you watch it growing up?
No, to be honest, I didn't really watch wrestling growing up. I grew up with 3 older brothers, and we constantly were wrestling. Obviously, That's why I was, always been so tough.
You
But
were beating them up, right?
yes, for
Yeah.
sure. How did you know? They joke around about that actually now because they're like, "Oh, we always knew you were going to be someone, some tough little." Because the way I was crazy. But yeah, I didn't really watch it that much. Of course, I would, me and my brothers would watch it here and there. We were big fans of like The Rock and Hulk Hogan and stuff. But I really didn't like sit and watch. Like I don't remember watching it that much. So it was then when I got involved later on in life, and an ex of mine, actually my ex fiance, he was the one that got me really involved in it because he always said that like I could do. He's like he was a really big supporter, and he was like, "No, you could do this," and he's like, "You could be like the next Trish Stratus." And I was like, when someone tells me that, I'm like, and then I start like, obviously Googling and YouTubing and watching, and I'm like, yeah, I could do this. And it was weird how it all came about. But yeah, he definitely got me into it.
When you started like doing that Googling and, looking into it, who really started to stand out for you?
Um, Definitely, obviously Trish Stratus because I would obviously watch a lot of her stuff. Her and like Lita, I loved watching because I loved like the dynamic between the two. And John Cena, of course. Like I was big fans of the obviously the larger than life characters and like just like the super charismatic. And I loved the idea of the sports and entertainment. I just thought it was really cool that it's like the best of both worlds. And I had the background of sports because I always played sports and I was an athlete growing up. And then the entertainment side I had a little bit just because I had like a presence on stage because of from competing. And I just kind of like would walk out and just have that confidence. And that's what the judges and the people saw. And they were like, oh, this is, and because I won my first show and I didn't even know anything about it. I got my pro card my first show. And
Wow.
that's when a few people were like, wow, like you have a really great presence. And so it's like, obviously, there was so much more to learn in WWE and I'm always learning every day. But I had like a little bit of a base where I felt like I was like, no, I think I can do this. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to make it look like I am.
Well, I remember when Tough Enough started, you were a real standout because there was something about you that was like this natural talent and this natural ability. Did you
Oh,
feel when
thank
the
you.
show started and you looked around at all the competitors that really stood a chance here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still so confident to this day and it's never changed, but I remember the competition itself. I was just very like I just was like oozing in confidence where I just like I knew I had it. And it's weird because like everyone says, you might not, and I trust me, I wasn't the best athlete there. I wasn't, there was obviously things, there were so many people, but I just was in like the best shape of my life at that time when it came to like cardio and the training that they had us doing was the craziest training I've ever, been involved in. And I was competing and doing all types of, training, but my cardio was at its best and I just felt like so good. I was in such a good place that like I just knew I was like, I got this, like game over. I just knew it. And I don't know, it's just I just had that confidence. And I wasn't being cocky. I wasn't being like, over my head or anything. I just had that like that confidence. So
Yeah. Do you think that you not winning was actually like a blessing in disguise?
yeah, I think so. Because I think seeing the way the fans reacted to, it was obviously a reality show, but there was
Yeah.
some realness to it, of course, as well, and some, storytelling as well. But it was also like to see, because me growing up in not really understanding the wrestling business as much as some of the other people, I didn't really get like why the wrestling fans didn't like me at first, because I wasn't really acting like I wasn't the full bitch of me wasn't really out yet. It was like, but I just because I was like the hot one, and I'm like, but I was so like, I'm like, why don't they like me? Like, I'd get all these hate tweets and all this stuff, and
Oh,
yeah, like just like, oh, she's just a Barbie doll. She's just, she ain't gonna make it, blah blah blah. And I just didn't get that because I was like, well, I'm like, I can like, I don't know, I like smoked the competition. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm hot, but like I already proved that. I'm like, what? So then I started to get it. Like, I understand it. Like, oh no, they just don't like me. Okay, I'm on a roll with that, If they're talking about me, it's cool, whatever. And obviously, with the help of like Chris Jericho and some like people that been in the business for a while, like they help me in the sense of like, no, like you're good, don't worry. Like if they're talking about you, that's a good sign. That's a good thing. But someone that didn't know that coming into the business, of course, you'd kind of like right away be like, I don't know, everyone liked me when I was competing. Why aren't they liking me here?
It almost seems
So,
like it almost seems like a curse when someone wins that, like, you know, a lot of the Tough Enough winners have not gone on to be that successful. And the
I
people
know.
like you or like Velveteen Dream or The Miz who were part of it and but didn't win end up going on to greater success.
Yeah, it's kinda weird. It is like there is like a curse, I feel like. I don't know, it's really weird. I guess maybe I don't know what the rhyme or reason is, but it was a blessing, I think, in a way because, yeah, I was a little bummed I didn't get that contract and I didn't win, but, they put me on Total Divas right away, which I thought was like I was like, "That's awesome." Like, I'm on their hit reality show on E that and I don't know anyone. I haven't even been inside a WWE ring yet. I'm like, "This is cool." So, I was really grateful and I'm okay that I didn't take first place.
And then you probably became more recognizable from being on Total Divas, and people didn't even
Yep,
know that you were a wrestler.
exactly. I got more exposure and more you know just just I got recognized more in the store everywhere I went just from Total Divas itself because that audience is much more different. I shouldn't say broad, but it's such a different demographic. It's not just wrestling fans. It's you know like women that just love to see reality and love to see a bunch of women fight. The
So,
drama.
so how quickly after Sarah wins do they reach out to you and go, "Well, we still have something for you here"?
That night,
Oh, wow.
actually.
Wow.
That night, yeah, which was crazy. So my whole family was at the show, the finale. I had that match, which, oh, good Lord, that match was, I had no idea what I was doing. I look back at that match and I'm like, oh my gosh. But anyway, I had that match and my family's reactions were hilarious too. My dad the whole time was just like, oh my God, my daughter. But anyway, and then that night, I was told that they still want to sign me a contract and they want to put me on Total Divas. Triple H and Canyon both said that night. So I was like, my family was super bummed because they didn't know much about everything. But I was like, no, no, it's okay. Like I was very positive. I'm like, I got signed anyway, and I'm gonna be on Total Divas. And of course, my mom knew a little bit. My dad, of course, was like, I don't understand how you didn't win. I'm like, it's fine.
Is there anything that Booker or Billy Gunn or Lita said while you were training that you still use, to this day in the ring?
Yeah, I think the one thing that stands out is Lita one time, and I think this was actually on film. It was like a digital extra thing. She came up to me. It was kind of still the beginning of the show, but it was behind the scenes. It wasn't in the ring or anything, and she had mentioned basically like just trying to help me, and she's like, because it was kind of before I was a little quiet in the beginning, I guess, because I didn't, we're all kind of trying to get the hang of it. And you know how a reality show is, the more drama you create, the better.
Sure.
So, and I'm not really like that. Like in real life, obviously, like I never, I didn't grow up with any sisters. I was always like, kind of like with all the boys. And I'm just like, I don't want that drama. Like I just wasn't into it. So that's how I went in thinking like, I'm going to be like the cool one, whatever. But she told me and she's like, we love you. We see like, great things the moment we saw you, but it's like, she's like, but you need to bring a little more, like a little more spitfire, whatever it may be. She's like, I don't know, whatever it comes from. And then from that day on, I remember I was like, okay, I was like, I'll bring it. And then it's just, I think that's where Mandy Rose got created, to be honest.
Well, and that's what we see every week now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So when you look back at these last 5 years, what have been some of these standout? Let's start with feuds. Who have you really enjoyed working with in the ring?
Oh, I have to say, one of my favorite opponents has been Asuka, just because of her energy, like her experience, obviously. She's so good. Of course, she makes me look good and vice versa, but like she just has this like aura of energy in the ring and that like makes you want to like be better and makes you just want to like fight and just I don't know, it's just something about her. And ever since NXT days, she's always been a really fun opponent to have. As far as like rivalry or feud, I have to say like the one I'm in right now is probably the first and like biggest one, to be honest. And really, you know prominent storyline going on right now on TV. So, and it's
Yeah.
just the beginning technically. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, that's good to hear. People can't get enough of Mandy Rose and Otis.
Oh my gosh, isn't he the cutest?
You guys together, it's so cute.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's the best. It's really funny. He's
And
super charismatic.
when I read that it was your idea that you actually pitched this to Vince. So where did the like genesis of that idea come from?
So basically, obviously, we know Otis was always kind of joking in NXT all the time. He'd walk by me, he'd always be like, "Mandy Candy, my peach," and it was always just like really funny. It was cute, He would cut promos when we'd have promo practice, and he would talk about me, and it was just really funny. And then when I got to the main roster, he would like be always reposting my Instagram photos. And to be honest, I didn't think it would resonate. I didn't know or like think that it was going to resonate this well and become such a great story. I thought that it would definitely be good, but I don't know. I didn't anticipate this. So I went to Vince's office one day and I, basically just said, I think this would be a really good storyline. I think it's relatable. It's like super like fun and cute and involved, and the way we involved all these different parties and people and and my best friend, former best friend, like it just worked out great. And I don't know, he loved it the second I told him. And Vince ain't gonna blow smoke up your, he like if he's not gonna like something, he's gonna be like, no, but he loved it. And I'm so happy and grateful that he actually believed in me in that sense of like, no, she came to me with this, like,
That must be so intimidating, though. Going
Oh,
to Vince with an idea, knowing that he could just snap his fingers, either make it happen or go, I don't think so.
yeah, it is. But it's also like, it's not going to hurt, like, unless it's something crazy. And he's like, what the hell, but it's like, if he doesn't like it or doesn't want to, use it, that's fine. At least you tried. So I was like, what, I'm going to do this and just see what he has to say. And I'm so thankful I did. You know what I mean?
But before that, you probably said to Otis, I think we have something here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Otis is so funny. Like he's pretty much the same person he is on TV. So like whenever I say things to him, he'll like ramble a little bit. And I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm like, what did you just say? So like I'd randomly tell him, like, I'm like, no, I think this is gonna happen. Like, and we started little bits of it. And I think that's why it happened and the story came together so well is because we didn't like rush it. We took our time and it was a whole team effort, the creators, the producers, the writers, Vince, and just everyone really had a say in it, which is I think always the best because then when you feel it, the talent, it comes out the most genuine.
And there was such a big payoff at WrestleMania. I just,
Yeah,
as a fan, I was hoping that there'd be a big, crowd reaction to that.
I
What was it
know.
like for you working WrestleMania, at the Performance Center without the crowd reaction?
So it was definitely different. I think different than any of us have ever experienced. But I have to say it was like I'm always up for a challenge, and it was a little bit of a challenge. But then like once you're out there, it's kind of just like what you normally do. Like when I'm out there with fans, like I'm obviously you know looking out to the fans and giving all my energy, but like you're not you have so many things to worry about and focus on. It's like you're not even like paying attention to like the specific person, like you are, but it's hard to. So I just feel like I just had the same focus. And it's definitely a struggle, but it's kind of cool in a way too. Like I think our last segment Friday, the promo segment, I almost liked it better in like a closed set. I felt like we
Hmm.
could feel it more, the promo segment aspect of it.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's we just gotta make things work. And I think the fact that we're able to still put on a show for our fans, and especially the WrestleMania moment, I think was like a really happy, like cute, cool moment in such like grungy times right now, like that's a lot of the feedback I got, which was cool. So if I could put people, put smiles on people's faces, that's all that matters.
Well, that WrestleMania moment leads me to a fan question here. And when he found out that you were going to be on the show, he had this question for you. So this comes from Nick N, who says, do you have any regrets? Maybe letting an 11 get away. Maybe a handsome, chiseled jaw, Arctic blue-eyed teddy bear, minus the fur, yet so humble man get away. don't you think that she would have been the modern day Heidi and Spencer? If
Oh
so,
my gosh.
just DM. No one has to know. That's again from Nick N.
Oh, Nick, and I'm flattered. That was funny.
Yeah, Nick's a good guy. So when he found out you were
Oh.
going to be on the show, he wanted to send you a special message.
Oh, well, thanks, Nick. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the storyline that you and Dolph had intermingled here was very nice.
Yes, it was. It was. And he's so much fun to work with. He's obviously got so much experience in the business, and he just like very helpful, and he was just, and he still is, like, he's just a lot of fun to work with.
Well, the photos that you guys posted together, like as a couple, that he put on his Instagram, made people like very upset.
Very upset. I was like, damn.
Yeah, like I'm guessing you wouldn't have imagined that kind of reaction.
No, I was like, okay, wow. I guess we'll just keep posting them.
I commented on there something about like a thumbs up emoji or something, and people were like getting mad at me. They're like,
Oh
no,
yeah.
she needs to be with Otis.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
It's well, and look, it all worked out for the fans.
Exactly. It's always got to work out for the fans.
If someone were to like just be seeing a Mandy Rose match for the first time and they wanted to see what was your favorite match or what you thought was a good kind of like resume match for you, what match would you point them at and say, this is a great match to see what I'm all about?
It's a good question. I would say the match that I had with Asuka. I know I just talked about Asuka.
Sure.
It was, gosh, trying to think of when it was, but I forget when it was. I think it was on, gosh, I think it was on SmackDown, but don't quote me. Could have been on Raw, but I think it was SmackDown, and I think it was when Sonya and I attacked her in her entrance. Couldn't tell you when that was or where, but I don't know why. I just really loved that match, and I got really great feedback from it. We attacked her before her entrance, so she was definitely like, we got her down before she even entered the ring, and then I just like I showed a different side. I feel like a different side of aggression that I haven't really shown that much, and I don't know. I just got great feedback from it. Like, everyone loved it. I watched it back. I loved it. There's always things that we always watch ourselves and are like, not really a big fan of that. But yeah, it was just one of those matches I don't know, I really like, but I wish I had more information on it exactly.
Don't worry.
I don't know
Everyone in
how
the
well
comments will be able to figure this out.
They will, for sure.
Everyone will know exactly the match that you're talking about.
They will, definitely.
When you look at where you're at right now, what would you say has been the biggest change for you since when you first got signed with WWE?
I guess right now, considering this whole storyline we're in, it would be, I've always been the bad guy, and now we're seeing a switch, which I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping it will resonate with our fans, and just so far I'm very grateful for the support I've been getting from the fans, and it's only the beginning, so I'm excited.
What is it about this storyline with Otis that is so relatable?
I guess it's like a Beauty and the Beast storyline, but also like I think it's kind of cool, but it's also like, obviously my character and what I've been portrayed as on TV has always been like the hot one, the stuck up one. She's all about her look. She's mean. She's a bully, whatever it may be. That's really not me. Obviously, like, I come from a very humble and great family, and it's just, there's I can go on and on, but I think it's like they see the opposite of that, and then I guess with this such a genuine, Otis is just so charismatic, so genuine, and I guess maybe it's also a lot of people out there, and they see this and they're like, it's hopeful too. It's like he can it's not what's on the outside, it's what on the inside. Everyone says that to you growing up too, but it's like you don't really see that a lot, so I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think you've given men, and most more specifically wrestling fans all across the world, just like the tiniest little glimmer of hope that they might be able to be with someone like Mandy Rose.
Yeah, I think that's really that's like the feedback I've been getting. So
what did your boyfriend think of this when you first told him that this was going to be the idea you were pitching to Vince?
He's didn't, he's very supportive, and I have to, I have to be with someone that's going to be supportive. I think all my storylines lately on the past 2 years on TV I've, the one with Naomi and Jimmy Uso, it was like, I was going after her husband. So it's like, it's always involving men. So, I guess just being in this entertainment industry, you have to have someone that supports you. And he was of course fine with it. And, yeah, it's a little weird, seeing it and stuff, but, it is what it is. Right.
Do you think that this is I mean, this storyline's getting all kinds of attention. We're certainly seeing a different side of you than we'd ever seen before. Do you think that this is the storyline that helps to propel you maybe into like a main event picture, maybe into a championship match?
Yeah, I'm hoping, I think it's about time, and I think something like this will eventually lead to that. Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready for it, whatever, whenever it may be.
I'm sure though that you would have told me you were ready, right after you signed that first contract too.
True, true.
We talked about the donuts, which is obviously on, this other side of the spectrum being a cheap meal
Hmm.
with, with Fit with Mandy and everything like that. What's the healthy meal that you enjoy making?
So, my favorite would have to be this like ground turkey dish. It's basically ground turkey mixed with corn, beans, and rice, and a little bit of cheese. I need a little bit of, and it's just really good. Obviously, healthy food can get boring. We all know that. Clean food. So it still has the, good taste. You can put a little sriracha on it. And I don't know, it's just like my go-to. I love that.
Do you
Good
count
amount.
macros? Is that how your diet works?
I try here and there. I've done it before. I Right now I'm just kind of, especially with everything going on, I'm just kind of trying to stay healthy and stay clean and drink a lot of water because it's so hard. I mean, I'm out of boredom. I'm just like always eating, what I think we all are. I'm just like I caught myself just like eating and I couldn't stop, and I'm watching TV and I realized I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not even hungry. I'm just eating." Like
Right. Well, what's so wild about, the situation that you're in is you were going 90 miles an hour on the road all the time, and now you've slowed down to basically, barely travel, not even really traveling at all.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. It's like I think about it and I'm like, actually, I was looking at some videos of like, um, when we were traveling, driving, and whatever, and like we're always so crazy, and I'm at times like thinking like, oh, I can't wait to be home and just relax, and like I never thought I would say it when I'm home, like I can't wait to go on a road loop. I'm like itching for like some entertainment or socializing.
What was the last loop that you did?
Oh, so I don't even remember.
Wow, and it was like a month ago.
I know. Well, it could have been longer than that because after we moved to Fox, we started doing a lot of combined live events. So not everyone was booked as much. So I feel like it was probably longer than a month.
In this time of like actually being able to be at home, being able to maybe collect your thoughts, has there been any like, great revelation for you or this aha moment of, okay, once we start traveling again, I'm going to do A, B, and C?
Yeah, I think actually I've thought about it a lot, and I feel like I don't know if this relates to that question specifically, but it's more about like right now. I feel like I'm so much more like I've always been appreciative, but it's like I want to make sure I'm always in the moment, and
Hmm.
this lifestyle, like everything is always like, well, what's next, like that was cool, but and I've always been like that. It's always been like, not to say that like there's always more and nothing's ever good enough, but it's more like we're driven and we're just like we always want something bigger and better. And I just feel like times like this happens where it's almost like the world just like it just stops. It's like you appreciate life so much and you like really appreciate everything you've been through and your job and everything. And I'm so grateful I still have a job and I'm able to still work and all that because it's crazy out there, and I think that's the biggest like epiphany I've had. It's like just when I am at work and just like really live in those moments and don't rush them because we all know it goes by so fast.
Well, you told me what your favorite match of your own is. What's your favorite wrestling match, period?
Um, Favorite match, I'd have to say, Like I said, I loved watching Trish and Lita, so I have to say one of their matches for sure. I loved when they tagged too. I guess maybe it's just like reminds me so much of like Sonya and myself, just like best friends, but like so different, but had good chemistry, worked well together. So I'd have to say like, I loved their storylines and like definitely multiple matches of theirs that I've loved watching them.
Who's been the person that you wished you could work with that you haven't had the chance to work with yet?
Um, hmm, who haven't I worked with that I wish I worked with? I'd say like, it's a tough one because technically, like, I've worked a little bit with Lita in the Royal Rumble match, and we've been involved in stuff in the women's pay per view, the Evolution. So, I mean, I would have to say probably who haven't I like even on the main roster right now? It's a tough question. You stumped me. I'm like,
I guess you've
trying to
worked with
think.
pretty much everyone then.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like I
That's
have
not that's pretty good.
pretty good for only a couple years in. I mean, I'm sure I definitely love some like bigger rivalries with a lot of these women that like some of the matches I did have, but yeah, I can't think of anyone really off the top of my head.
It's been a really interesting arc for you in your career because when you were on Tough Enough, divas were still being called divas. Like female superstars were still being called divas. Do you remember like a specific time, or maybe it was the Evolution pay-per-view, but was there a specific discussion that was starting to happen where you start to see things trend in a different direction?
Yeah, for sure. It was the time when they announced the all women's pay-per-view, and also the time before that where Lita was the one to announce that the women are now to be called superstars, just like the men, not divas. And it's just I kept thinking like, wow, this is what a great time to be a woman in not only WWE but in sports entertainment in general, because you see all these women around the world breaking these barriers and in every sport, and it's really cool, and I'm really happy to be a part of it, and that I can be a part of the revolution.
If there's a young woman watching this right now that wants to be in the position that you're in, what would you say to them?
I'd have to say, obviously always follow your dreams, but you never know where you're going to end up. And I think it hits home for me because yes, I was studying to be a speech language pathologist. I was going to school because that was kind of like the right thing to do at that moment. But I don't know, like if I didn't really think too much into it. I just thought this is what I should be doing, right? But I think ever since I got involved in fitness and fell in love with it and really started doing something for myself and something that really made me happy, is when I realized like, no, like the sky's the limit. Like I could do whatever I want. If I want to, become a WWE superstar, I'm going to become a WWE superstar and it didn't matter. It didn't matter that I didn't know much about it either. It's just, it's whatever your heart desires. And I feel like, always take the chances and don't think that you're too good or, you're too good for something. Because to be honest, Tough Enough, I was a little nervous from the get-go. I was a little bit like, I knew I had envisioned myself being in the WWE, but I wasn't like sure 100% if I should go through with a reality show. I was kind of like, I don't know. Last time I seen one, and I thought like, I just wasn't sure about it. But I went with it because I was like, this could be a good opportunity. Who knows? And maybe if it doesn't work out, it leads to something else. So I think like, just take those risks and take those chances.
I love this attitude. I love this mentality.
Oh, thanks.
Have you always been like this?
I always have been like this. Yeah, not everyone knows that because they always see kind of like that one side of me. But I'm hoping I could show the rest of the world the real, Mandy.
I mean, the
So,
fact that you enter a fitness competition, number one, it deserves a round of applause. I mean,
oh,
that's
thank
huge.
you,
But then you
thank
win the
you.
thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, and and that's what everyone back home the people that really know me, of course, they're very when they talk about me, they're like, you would never get like she's so humble, she's so cool, she's so like it takes a lot for me to like obviously I'm super grateful, but it takes a lot for me to be like overly excited about something. I just because I feel like it's cool, but I don't know, I'm not like a bragger. I'm not like I don't walk around, wearing my crown. Like when it happened, like the video of me winning the bikini world championship title was hilarious because I was actually kind of like sick. I had a runny nose. but like the videos of me, I was just so calm, and like all the girls were like freaking out, and I was just like, oh, this is awesome. Like maybe it didn't settle in, and I was for sure happy, but it was just so funny. I was just like, this is cool, but like, wow, I don't know. It's just, but I'm a pretty chill person, I guess I would
Yeah,
say.
well, I'm curious then, if you said, you don't get that excited for, some things, what was the last thing that you just got jacked up about?
Um, well, that day, I have to say, when I watch videos, I get chills still. Like it still was such an exciting day because I just being on stage, and I remember the moments and the feelings I had rushing through me, and it was just awesome. But um, gosh, the last time, I mean, I get excited. I will have to say, like WrestleMania was a really excited and pivotal point of my career so far because I really felt like this was a huge moment, and the feedback we got from it, of course, afterwards, and just like our little backstage we did afterwards, it had like the most views on YouTube, and in a time right now where everyone's on their phones and on watching TV, it's like to see that feedback and stuff, I was like, wow, I'm a part of something that's so cool, which is so exciting.
People love you, and people love this
Oh,
storyline.
thank you.
And I saw that you were the most interacted with athlete on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's mind blowing.
That was actually, yeah, for bringing that up. That was actually very exciting.
Oh, there we go. We got your
There we
answer.
go. Yeah, which was just like 4 days ago. So there you go. That's exactly what it is. I forget, it's hard. But it was. I kept like zooming in, and I'm like, is that really my name? I'm like, no way, because I don't have the most followers out there, and it was more just interactions. But I think it was a combination since WrestleMania happened and everything, and I don't know, I was just very active being home and stuff. It was cool. I was like, damn, I was like, I beat Tom Brady. I'm like, hell
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like this is all athletes worldwide, not just WWE.
Yeah, yeah, which I was like, wow. I called my dad and my mom right away, and I showed them, and they were like, oh my God.
Well,
Ah,
congratulations on that.
thank
Congratulations
you.
on your app. I mean, the way that this timed out, it couldn't be any better. So
I
it's Fit
know.
with Mandy. People can get it. I guess they can get it anywhere they download their apps.
Yep, yep. It's available on the App Store. I'm trying to get it available on the Android, but it's been a little struggle. But available on the App Store, so hopefully they can enjoy it there.
They can
Um,
join me, who has now downloaded the app.
yeah, and you know how it is. So, and I also have a skincare line coming out soon. It's called Amarose.com.
Look at you.
So yeah, and that's hopefully within the next couple months that'll be launched. It's I'm all about healthy lifestyle, so you got to maintain your skin, of course. And because I travel so much, I've been using these products that I'm launching. I've been using them for like the last 6 months, and I've like fell in love with them, and I want to be able to share them with everyone else.
So this is the secret, everyone, to the fountain of youth, to look like Mandy.
Yes, this is going to be the secret, and it will be released soon.
This has been so great. And it's been so good to see like a different side of you than I think people normally see on TV.
Oh, thank you. It has been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
No, and thank you. And, congrats on everything. And I can't wait to see what plays out with this storyline with Otis.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Big thank you to Mandy Rose for the time. Fit with Mandy is the name of her app. You can find it in the App Store. And congrats to her and Otis. Although that Nick N guy who sent in that fan question, Nick N, man, he sounds like a real stand-up great guy. And a huge thank you to Dolph Ziggler for sharing that fan question on his Instagram page from Nick N. It's just so nice of him. Speaking of Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, you know you got your chance to win this bad boy right here, the big gold from Fan Do Belts. Ooh, look at that beautiful thing right there. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Chris Van Vliet. Look for the post with the picture of the big gold. We're also throwing in a nameplate here with Woo Ric Flair. So you get the big gold and the Ric Flair nameplate there. The contest does end, though, on May 1st, 2020. So if you're watching this video after May 1st, 2020, I'm sorry, you can't enter. But if you are watching this before then, in April 2020, you can enter. Although if you're watching this after May 1st, 2020, life's probably, a little more accessible right now. Things are open, at least more open than they are right now. At Chris Van Vliet, follow me, follow Fan Do Belts, tag a friend, your chance to win this. Woo!